哦，おはにょ，做喵，做喵卡，做喵他切，做喵 Tesla， 咩做喵啊林月，我都冇留意，做喵點月，做喵啊大家，今日我哋嚟玩一個史丹利的語言。我揾咗好耐，發現咗佢只係得簡體，係啦，大家盡量將就下睇我哋，唔好意思得噶，係啦，我唔識睇日文，我唔想翻譯英文，所以我哋今晚只可以用嗰個，冇辦法，個咩？係今朝留嘅，我記得啦。今朝我今朝早我琴晚出呢個待機室嘅時候唔記得咗改翻唔係唔記得咗，今朝早咁啊，琴晚改錯咗個時間 set 咗做朝頭早9點半，係啦，我睇到9點半就撳咗落去，我冇碌落去下面，應該琴晚攰得滯啩，我諗啦，做咩話先？咁我哋轉一轉個畫面過去先。呢個，有畫面啦，有畫面。嘿，你以前有冇玩過呢個嘅？冇。等咗12個鐘終於，等咗12個鐘終於開台。係啊，12個鐘。請調整。直到電腦幾乎看不見，我幾乎看不見，我可以咁樣。你哋咧？你哋好似清楚啲，咁啦，差唔多啦。請輸入當前嘅時間21點。What the hell？唔係 ，sorry， 21點係幾多？9啊！可唔可以打字啊？12做喵啊？貓目可從主中訪問無盡咩嚟㗎？咩叫無盡？唔知乜設置啊？睇嚟會係咁叫你入無謂嘢。做咩呢木卡？障礙？咩無障礙設置係咩嚟㗎？咩叫無障礙設置？速度乜地？喺邊度撳啊？呢度咩？顯示翻譯標籤，即係咩？咩啊？對世界中的文本啟用經過翻譯嘅標顯示內容點講？咩叫減少運動？冇乜嘢整啦，係咪？冇乜啦，冇乜特別。啲聲會唔會好大聲？唔會還好，我覺得。主音量有音樂㗎，佢音樂會唔會咩㗎？我可唔可以熄咗佢音樂㗎？check 得冇咁勁，邊度啊？呢個減少運動好啊，咁好啦，你話 check 得冇咁勁㗎，我信你嘅。例如聲慢嗰啲，係咪冇份？冇啊，真係冇啊，我揾咗好耐啦。應該係類似驚太閃佢有冇版權嘅啲音樂？使唔使又熄咗個版權㗎？邊框空發控制，前向後跳互動 E 左鍵額外互動，望住先。貓雞係可唔可以試啊？我點解要同佢講唔該 ？OK，咁我哋入去啦，冇繁體 ，sorry。好，我哋開始遊戲啦。Let the end is never the end.
This is the story of a man named Stanley.
Stanley.
Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on the keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly.
會唔會係我太細聲？我太細聲就搞細聲佢，冇得搞大聲我嘅，我已經最大聲。
And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget.
聽得好清楚。Okay.
He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened. This complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
Wow, 好揈啊！係咪應該減慢啲？3萬咩嚟㗎？427啊嘛。OK， 有冇得篤篤㗎？冇得篤篤。走嚕咩嚟？428。
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
唔係恐怖 game 咯，應該會唔會嘔㗎？你哋咁樣睇法？我熄咗人哋部電腦，對唔住啊。會議室喺邊啊？我想問。會議室。會議室咩 ？I hate Mondays。OK， 唔中意星期一嘅人。咁OK， 可以開翻。呢個就係會議室啦。唔係會議室咩？呢個？入唔到去，係喎。諗咗準備又話係啊，我下個禮拜會玩恐怖 game 嘅，放心。做咩？卡學呢個 emoji 係咩？你覺得係好笑 game？ 我都覺得係好笑 game， 有少少暈，因為見到睇唔到啲字點算？因為見到呢啲乜嘢啦。
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
佢話我去咗左邊，心動到暈。OK， 多謝。係左邊。
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
咁如我真係跟佢去左邊咁點啊？我知啊，我特登去右邊嘅。係咪暈啊？會唔會唔舒服啊？唔舒服我就減慢少少。
Yes, truly a room worth admiring. It had really been worth the detour after all, just to spend a few moments here in this immaculate, beautifully constructed room. Stanley simply stood here, drinking it all in.
唔係落去。咁樣睇。
Yes. Really, really worth it being here in the room. A room so utterly captivating that even though all your co-workers have mysteriously vanished, here you sit looking at these chairs and some paintings. Really worth it.
以為你分到，我分到啊！ 是是。好難
At this
啊！呢間
point,
房，
Stanley's obsession with this room bordered on creepy
佢好
and
煩
reflected
啊！
poorly on his
你我
overall
唔係可以跳
personality.
嘅咩？佢話我
It's
space 可以
possible
跳
that this
㗎
is why everyone left.
乜鬼嘢啊？佢講乜嘢啊？啊，唔好意思，我肚啱啱痛咗下。
Stanley sat around waiting for more dialogue, but when a long time had passed and there was no more, he decided that the game was trying to send him a message.
佢好煩，係啊！雖然我喺度等緊佢講嘢，係心情好藍色嘅心情，即係唔開心喎。但係唔係咩？等我睇下佢仲有冇嘢講。哇！呢張圖，呢個呢冇嘢睇啦。其實係左右冇分別，真㗎？你去咗揾過嚟睇啦，一樣㗎。係咯，佢真係唔講嘢啦，佢真係唔講啦。我下面有嘢，又係 Monday， 又係 I hate Monday。呢個咧 ，coffee nut。OK， 好啦，出去啦我哋。
But at last, he'd had enough of the amazing room and took the first open door on his left to get back to business.
佢話去左邊度。
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
我唔去左邊又變成咁，我係咪可以陣間玩多次？所以跟翻佢哋自己寫。我哋而家今日就係唔係第一次，就係完全唔聽佢講，係唔聽佢講。鍵盤聲好大聲，唔係啊，我冇撳鍵盤，呢個係我撳 mouse 嘅聲嚟。呢個係 mouse 聲，呢個係刷卡。半隻喵，係今日係。原來我喺度做咩啊？佢唔講嘅，佢唔講我點知我要做咩？又話可以跳，又可以跳嘅，跳咧唔俾我跳，唔跳點樣入去？唔係可以跳咩？哇！我隻 mouse 嘢好慢啊，因為我頭先較慢咗個 mouse。係咯 ，space 啊嘛，冇啊，冇問題啊。做喵金小文，我嗨喲。好啦，我哋行呢度。
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. Please.
What? Really?
I was in the middle of something. Do you have zero consideration for others? Are you that convinced that I want something bad to happen to you? Why, I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really do want to help you, to show you something beautiful. Look, let me prove it. Let me prove that I'm on your side. Give me a chance.
你講啊，你點樣係喺我呢邊？話我知，你成日閂我啲門。睇得出唔係咁聽話嘅。乜嘢
Now listen carefully, this is important. Stanley walked through the red door. 呢個唔太簡單。OK。 Aha, perhaps you misunderstood. Stanley walked through the red door.
哦，好啊，我去緊㗎啦。
I still don't think we're communicating properly. Stanley walked through the red door. All right, fine. Go ahead, Stanley. You want to know so badly what's out there? You want to find out what lies at the end of this road you've chosen? Well, don't let me stop you.
係咪美好嘅嘢？照鏡就看啊！多謝。少少似曾相識，做咩啊，莊神？睇下啦，有啲咩你唔好彈嘢出嚟嚇鬼我得㗎啦，其實。啊咧
You see? There's nothing here. I haven't even finished building this section of the map. Because you were never supposed to be here in the first place. Broken rooms, exposed developer textures. Is this what you had wanted? Was it worth ruining the entire story I had written out specifically for you? Do you not think I put a lot of time into that? Because I did. And in the end, it was all for nothing. Because this is what you wanted to see. Help me here, Stanley. Help elucidate these strange and unknowable desires of yours. What would have made this game better? What did you want to see? Vehicles? Skill trees? Work with me. You've given me absolutely nothing so far. Tell you what. Let me take a stab in the dark at a new design, and you can give me some feedback. There we go. A third option. This already feels leaps ahead of where we were before. Go ahead, Stanley. Take it for a spin.
木門啊？呢度係邊？呢兩個係咩門啊？呢度係邊度啊？我唔知嘅，我冇去呢度。誒？嗯？
Okay, I'm going to stop you there. Now, tell me about your experience with this new version. Would you say that the game benefited from allowing you more choices? Feel free to be honest. I'm looking for some real critical feedback here.
咩？佢沙睇嚟黐線嗰個係旁白，有咩魔神樂啊？同佢講我食嘛。
A one? I mean, I can understand if you had reservations, you saw ways the game could be improved to more fully express itself mechanically and artistically, but a one? That's not even helpful. What am I supposed to do with that? But I guess it isn't my place to judge. Here, based on the data from your previous playthrough, I've compiled a new version. And to be perfectly candid, I think I've knocked it out of the park with this one. Let's take a look.
Worldwide 咩0.0002係咩料？我又有啲三度門嘅，呢個又係返去頭先嗰度。Oh fuck！
Now, would you say that competitive leaderboard helped you feel motivated to keep walking through doors?
做咩啊
Again, honest answers, please.
衝啊！冇得跑喎。
Hey, I nearly forgot. I've got a prototype of a new game I've been working on, and now would be a lovely opportunity to give it some playtesting. You wouldn't mind taking a look at it, would you? Perfect.
No.
Let me boot it up.
Huh?
In this game, the baby crawls left towards danger. You click the button to move him back to the right, and if he reaches the fire, you fail. It's a very meaningful game, all about the desperation and tedium of endlessly confronting the demands of family life. I think the art world will really take notice. But of course, the message of the game only becomes clear once you've been playing it for about 4 hours. So why don't you give it 4 hours of play to make sure it's effective? Be sure to keep notes on your experience. You heartless bastard. Did you do it because you hate babies or purely to spite me? Because if it's the latter, well, I don't know what to do. I'm completely out of ideas. I can't think of a single thing that might improve the experience for me. I'm not even going to try. I'm out. I'm done.
Bye-bye.
It's over. Thank you for playing. Your input was extremely valuable. Oh, hey, since my game was so awful, why don't we play someone else's game? Just to ease the pain. Let's see. What do we have here? Yes. This seems like it'll work. Let's give it a shot. Aha! Fascinating. What do you think this game is about, Stanley? What's our backstory? What is our motivation? Well, it seems obvious to me that you are meant to play as a creepy man spying on innocent civilians below you from up high in your creep tower, perhaps for some sort of twisted erotic purpose. Yes, that must be it. What a fascinating venture into the experience of total mental depravity. So far, I love everything about this game, Stanley. And it seems there's even more. Come, let's venture outward and see what else is out there.
我都係瞓覺啦，真係。我唔可以瞓覺，你成日冇得攞武器啊！ 冇保險，我好大聲啊！誒，我都跑過啊呢個。哦，誒，係咪嗰邊睇下先？燒 BB， 可唔可以開掣啊？冇啊，我開掣。佢咧呢啲聲咧撳掣嗰啲聲，搞到好似我用緊清濁嗰時嘅感覺。我仲以為自己用緊清濁。睇下有啲咩呢度？可唔可以跳落去啫
Oh no. No, it can't be.
咩啊？咩啊？路咩路？有啲咩睇啊？點解行得咁慢嘅？佢有冇得行上去？咩貓掌拍 keyboard 先？冇啲咁嘅事。
It is. It's an open world game. Good God, quickly block it off. Oh, thank goodness, Stanley. What a close call. You nearly wandered off into that thing. That big, open, just wandering around. No right or wrong directions. No path to follow. You can just go in any... Oh, thank heavens we avoided it. We're out of the woods now, Stanley. Okay, I'm going to get us out of here. Let's find another game. Preferably something with walls. Something with nice, big, insurmountable walls. Okay, I think this will be just the thing. Wonderful. See, this is exactly what I had in mind. Just a nice big box for you to run around in. There isn't any possibility that you could get lost here. Now this is game design. Stanley, if you manage to get lost in this game, I will be phenomenally impressed. Okay, so what exactly do we do here? Let's see. There are lots of cars here in the back, but obviously there's no racetrack. Okay, I'm seeing that there's a ball of some kind back here. Is this game sports ball? Stanley, I think it's sports ball. Oh, what fun. We shall run the bases and do a touchdown together. Yes, I think surely we must. Okay, Stanley, here's the ball. Have fun.
Huh?
Hold on. What are you doing?
Stanley, don't do that. I can't follow you there. I can't help you. How will you write a story without me? You can't do it. You know that. Stanley, come back. We still have so much...
我喺邊啊？點解我好似入咗恐怖 game 度咁？頭先林喵講嘢完全聽唔到，真咩？聽唔到我講嘢咩？做咩 TWP？ 而家聽到未啊？我喺邊？好似恐怖 game。隻 game 到底收咗幾多錢？唔知。收咗你呢度。我喺邊度？呢邊度？有燈籠，我過嚟睇下先。撞聲嘅時候聽唔到，咁唔緊要啦。撞聲咁我最多唔講嘢咯，佢講嘢嘅時候。係嗎？係咪？我間房啊，427。哇！我可以互動嘅咩？我冇嘢可以做嘅。何？南灣 哇！有呢個係咪 interface 嚟啊？咁大個 keyboard。啲有咩做？有咩可以做？嘿！
I wonder what he found. If what he wanted was to be the leading man in his own story, well, perhaps he's gotten it, down in wherever he is right now. I wonder if he's happy with his choice, and if he's learned the heavy cost that comes with it. He'll understand soon what I was trying to tell him. He needs me. Someone who will wrap everything up at the end, to make sense out of the chaos and the fear and the confusion. That's who I am. That is what I mean to this world. Oh, yes. Yes, I'll be back. There's no other way. Once this ends, after it all comes to a close, then I'll be back. The end will be here soon. Very soon.
做咩加拿大球？咩？我乜都睇唔到啊！但係諗咩係咪恐怖 game 副手？點樣叫恐怖 game 副手先？我又返嚟。
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door, and this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
詭異 BGM 還好唄。
Wow. Yes. This room.
有冇唔同？
What a beautiful room. What a gorgeous, gorgeous room. Thank goodness Stanley had taken this detour on his way to the meeting room. Life without having experienced this room was now too horrible even to consider.
佢應該都冇乜嘢講，同頭先一樣。
But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
頭先行前面嗰條路係去邊話？哦，頭先轉咗。
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't 5 years ago.
重複咗定應該唔係
Look,
重複
Stanley,
緊。
I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot
不過我今次
here.
唔跳落
I'm
去
not
嗰
your
度。
enemy, really, I'm
都
not.
唔係喎，
I
跳落去紅
realize
色
that
嗰條
investing
路係
your
咪唔
trust
同
in
㗎？
someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been
我想
about
去多次
nothing
紅色
but
嗰條
you
路啊！
all this
我可以跳
time.
落去咩？
There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about.
What? Really?
I was in the middle of something. Do you have zero consideration for others? Are you that convinced that I want something bad to happen to you? Why, I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really do want to help you, to show you something beautiful. Look, let me prove it. Let me prove that I'm on your side. Give me a chance. Now listen carefully, this is important. Stanley walked through the red door. Aha, perhaps you misunderstood. Stanley walked through the red door. Oh, thank God you are willing to listen to me. Do you see that I really have wanted you to be happy all this time? The problem is all these choices. The two of us always trying to get somewhere that isn't here. Running and running and running, just the way you're doing right now. Don't you see that it's killing us, Stanley? I wanted to stop. We would both be so much happier if we just stopped. And I think I have a solution. Here, let me show you. What do we want? What are we looking for?
Whoa.
Here. Yes. Oh, it's beautiful, isn't it? If we just stay right here, right in this moment with this place, Stanley, I think I feel happy. I actually feel happy.
外星人，哇，好萌啊！睇唔出係咩？哦，綺麗！哇，會唔會跌落街？哇，佢唔俾我衝落去。哦，綺麗，靚啊！喂好，仲有冇其他嘢喎？ 冇啦。我係咪俾 UFO 吸咗上去啊？咩啊？林喵第一次做正確嘅選擇。嗱，我就走啦，唔睇，冇有睇。
No, wait. Where are you going?
咩啊？你想入翻去？
Right. Where were
你頭
we?
先都唔講嘢。喂，講嘢啊！佢都唔講嘢。
Oh no. Stay away from those stairs. If you hurt yourself, if you die, the game will reset. We'll lose all of this.
會冇咗啲咩？最多咪跑多次，跳唔到落去，佢都唔俾我跳。
Please, no, Stanley, let me stay here. Don't take this from me.
喂，有道門嘅，道門咩啊？
Please, Stanley, no!
咦？
Oh, thank God. You lived. You had me worried there for a moment. Now, no. No, what are you doing, Stanley? Please, I'm asking you not to take this away from me. I can't go back to what I was before. If you die, we'll both go back. Why are you doing this?
冇啊，跳落去好玩。Woohoo!
Stanley, let's go back to the other room. Can you do that for me?
有啲咩啊？呢度門唔會閂嘅嗬？呢度冇門。
Yes. Perhaps you can. Perhaps you finally see what I'm talking about.
唔係啦，我想跳多次。我要行越慢啦，我係咪有受傷㗎？所以。
My God, is this really how much you dislike my game? That you'll throw yourself from this platform over and over to be rid of it? You are literally willing to kill yourself to keep me from being happy. Am I reading the situation correctly?
Yeah, gone.
Or maybe you're just getting a kick out of it. I don't know anymore. I just wanted us to get along. But I guess that was too much to ask. It looks like you wanted to make a choice after all. Well, this one is yours.
佢會唔會暴走㗎？個旁白跌咁多次都未死，啱嘛？跌多次唔死，我哋就行啦。喂！
Is it over? It's going to restart, isn't it? I'm going back.
我又返嚟啦。
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
我今次試過紅色道門啦，但我又未去過。
When Stanley came to a set of two open, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. The lounge was sublime, a work of art. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
我陣間試下呢度，我行返前面先。
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years
咩有
ago.
㗎？聽到。
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. Please, stop trying to make every decision by yourself. Now, I'm not asking for me, I'm asking for her.
喂，佢靴邊個靴啊？
This is it, Stanley.
邊個佢啊？
Your chance to redeem yourself, to put your work aside, to let her back into your life.
邊個啊？
She's been waiting.
得嚟，得嚟，好黑啊！
That's her, Stanley. You need to be the one to do this, to reach out to her. Oh, no, you can't. Did you just unplug the phone? Now, that wasn't supposed to be a choice. How did you do that? You actually chose incorrectly? I didn't even know that was possible. Let me double check. No, it's definitely here, clear as day. Stanley picks up the phone. He's taken to his apartment where he finds his wife, and the two pledge themselves to one another. Music comes in, fade to white, roll credits. Not picking up the phone is actually somehow an incorrect course of action. How is that even possible? None of these decisions were supposed to mean anything. I don't understand. How on earth are you making meaningful choices? What did you... Wait a second. Did I just see... No, that's not possible. I can't believe it. How had I not noticed it sooner? You're not Stanley. You're a real person. I can't believe I was so mistaken. This is why you've been able to make correct and incorrect choices. And to think I've been letting you run around in this game for so long. If you'd made any more wrong choices, you might have negated it entirely. It's as though you completely ignored even the most basic safety protocol for real-world decision-making. Or did you not grasp the severity of the situation? Well, I won't have that kind of risk on my watch. I'm going to stop the game for a moment so we can educate you properly on safe decision-making in the real world. Please observe this helpful instructional video.
Choice. It's the best part of being a real person, but if used incorrectly can also be the most dangerous. For example, in this scenario, a hypothetical real person named Rupert has a choice. He could invent a machine that eliminates food shortages across the world to make life better for all people. Or he could spend years of hard work forgetting how to read. Which choice would you make? Remember that unlike here, the real world makes sense, and at no time should you make a choice that does not conform to rational logic. If you find yourself speaking with a person who does not make sense, in all likelihood, that person is not real. Allow the person to finish their thought, then provide an excuse why you cannot continue talking. Turn to a partner and practice saying, "My goodness, is it 4:30? I'm supposed to be having a back, sack, and crack." Excellent. Making choices on a regular basis is the best part to a healthy decision-making process. Most medical professionals recommend making at least 8 choices per day. Do you make more than 8? Less? And finally, if you begin to wonder if your choices are actually meaningful and whether you'll ever make a significant contribution to the world, just remember that in the vast infiniteness of space, your thoughts and problems are materially insignificant, and the feeling should subside. At this time, your instructor will guide you in an exercise to test and reinforce the material covered in this video.
Welcome back. You may have noticed that this room has begun to deteriorate as a result of narrative contradiction. But not to worry. Now that you're properly informed on good decision-making, we're going to revisit a choice you made just a few minutes ago and see what the correct thing to do would have been. This way, please. Now that we know your choices are meaningful, we can't have you jumping off the platform and dying. Imagine the main character dying senselessly halfway through the story. That story would make no sense at all. We just need to get you home as soon as possible before the narrative contradiction gets any worse. Unfortunately, it seems this place is not well equipped to deal with reality.
我覺得下面有路行嘅。有路。OK。去邊啊？去邊啊？唔係呢度有條路咩？頭先去邊啊？我哋而家做咩？係我返轉頭。
Almost there. You'll take the door on the left, back to the correct ending, the story will have resolution once again, and you'll be home free in the real world. Now remember, all you need to do is behave exactly as Stanley would. That means choosing responsibly and always putting the story first. I'm quite sure you'll be up to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine. All right. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. No! Why did you do that? Quickly, hurry back in the other direction. Perhaps we're not too late.
Yeah. 佢呢邊淋晒，哦，很俾我，佢唔俾我走啊！呢邊啊，唔好，行咯，然後咧，誒。去到辦公室。
Oh, it's ruined. I can't believe after everything we talked about that my story, you've destroyed my work. Why? For what? What did you get out of that? What did you think was so special about seeing the game undone, left here like so much garbage? It's worthless now. And what am I supposed to do? Even if there were a way to continue, would it be worth it? To know that my story is now incorrect? How can I go back to that? I can't erase that knowledge. I'll have to live with it forever, reliving its impossibility forever. I couldn't live that way. Is it better to shut the game down entirely? To willingly destroy all of my work? I don't know. What's the answer? What do I do? What do I do? What do I... No, I have to. I have to shut the game down. I have to. I have to.
はい。あれ？怖い。Oh.
I'm here. I'm still here. Here in this pile of rubbish. With you.
What the fuck about
who thought you were so clever. Now look where we are. My entire game is destroyed. It was the only thing in the world that was mine, and you've run it into the ground. What, did you think that would be funny? You just had to see? Didn't I impress upon you how important it was to be like Stanley? He actually knows how to do what I tell him to. He understands that if I say to do something, there's a damn good reason for it. That thought hadn't even occurred to you, had it? That there's a world outside of you? You're a child. Oh, my story. If you'd just gone through the door on the left, you would have seen it. There was a whole underground facility. You would have destroyed it and been victorious. It would have been so perfect. I worked so hard on it. I tried so hard to make... behave exactly as Stanley would. That means choosing responsibly and always putting the story first. I'm quite sure you'll be up to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine. All right. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. No! Why did you do that? Quickly, hurry back. Behave exactly as Stanley would. That means choosing responsibly and always putting the story first. I'm quite sure you'll be up to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine. All right. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. No! Why did you do that? Quickly, hurry back. Behave exactly as Stanley would. That means choosing responsibly and always putting the story first. I'm quite sure you'll be up to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine. All right. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Okay. 哇，真相框。行後面開咗咩
No! Why did you do that? Quickly, hurry back. Behave exactly as Stanley would. That means choosing responsibly and always putting the story first. I'm quite sure you'll be up to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine. All right. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
後面都冇避開。好啦，行左邊啦。做喵啊 ，Yuli！ 點解有咩睇㗎？左邊條路我好似冇行過啊，我有行過。誒，啱喎呢度嘅。
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
我冇咁早起身，我 set 錯咗時間，今朝算死。咩嚟㗎？呢個係咪就係
Coming to a
跳樓嘅跳
staircase,
樓梯？
Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
我冇得落，佢唔俾我落，係咪之前有得落？我陣間再試下先。紅開嘅時候，咁紅，原來咧。哇！有紅有綠，想點啊你？好啦，行啦。
Stepping inside his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this, until he saw the door with a voice receiver next to it. Surely behind this door lay all the answers to his questions. And beyond all probability, he knew the passcode. He had seen it on his boss's computer just last week. Nightshark 115. Was this the code to open the door? Would it still work? There was only one way to find out. Stanley had been trained never to speak up, but now he would draw from within himself the courage to face the unknown. He drew a sharp breath and then spoke the code.
咩話 ？How？ 你啱乜話？
Stanley spoke the code. Nightshark 115. He spoke it into the receiver, right there on the wall.
What the fuck? No.
I'm sorry, is there a problem? You didn't mishear me, did you? Please speak the code into the receiver. Otherwise, we can't get on with the story. This is a crucial step.
What the fuck?
Okay, fine. You're not going to do it. But you know what? It's pretty humiliating to bring you this far, only for you to suddenly decide you have better things to do. I asked you for this one single thing, for your respect. The kind of respect Stanley shows for his choices. He knows what it means to take a story seriously. If you didn't want to see what I had to show you, then why did you come here? You had a choice, you know. You could have gone through the door on the right. You could have done whatever the hell you wanted over there. Why did you come this way? Speak. Say something to me. Explain yourself, you coward. You... When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Hey.
Stanley? Hello? Are you... Is everything okay?
No, okay.
Stanley, please.
Oh, I
need you to make a choice. I need you to walk through the door. Are you listening to me? Can you hear me? Is everything all right?
I know.
Stanley, this is important.
No.
The story needs you. It needs you to make a decision. It cannot exist without you. Do you understand me? Whatever choice you make is just fine. They're both correct. You cannot be wrong here. We can work together. I'll accept whatever you do. I simply need you to take that step forward. Please. Choose. Do something. Anything. This is more important than you can ever know. The story needs it. So, you hear me? Are you there? Stanley, are you there? Okay. It's okay, I can wait. You need time to decide. Time to make sure your choice is correct. That is the best choice. That's all right. I'll wait for you to decide what's the right thing to do. Take as much time as you need.
而家重新開始啦，定係點啊？
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
睇下先。啊？誒？嗯？撳唔到。我要去左右邊嗰間房。
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Standing now in this incredible room, Stanley for the first time, but eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
我要跳落街。
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. But in his eagerness to prove that he is in control of the story and no one gets to tell him what to do, Stanley leapt from the platform and plunged to his death. Good job, Stanley. Everyone thinks you are very powerful.
直接死㗎。 All
of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
直接死嘅。
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Stanley felt lightheaded. Butterflies in his stomach. Giddy but eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. And so he detoured through the maintenance section, walked straight ahead to the opposite door, and got back on track. But Stanley didn't want to go back to the office. He wanted to wander about and get even further off track. So now in order to get back, he needed to go, from here it's, left.
What? Okay.
Oh, no, it's to the right, my mistake. No, not the right. Why would I have ever said it was to the right? What was I thinking? It's clearly... Oh dear, would you hold on for a minute, please? No, let's see. Down, right, left, down, left, right. Yep, okay, yes. I've got it now. This story is absolutely, definitely this way.
Whoa. 呢度未有錄嘅。哇，好黑啊！嗰邊有喎。
No! This isn't right at all. You're not supposed to be here yet. This is all a spoiler. Quick, Stanley, close your eyes. Okay. We just have to get back to who am I? It's rubbish now. The whole story completely unusable. How about, rather than waste my time trying to salvage this nonsense, we'll just restart the game from the beginning. And this time, suppose we don't wander so far off track, Okay, from the top.
Okay.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
右邊係右邊嗰間房，之後就去左邊嗰度。
When Stanley... Wait, what? No, I restarted. I swear I definitely restarted the game over, completely fresh. Everything should be... Oh, did something change? Stanley, did you change anything when we were back in that room with all the monitors? Did you move the story somewhere or... Hold on. Why am I asking you? I'm the one who wrote the story. It was right here just a minute ago. I know for sure that it's here somewhere. Okay, then. It's an adventure. Come, Stanley. Let's find the story.
行邊度啊？你哋想行邊度啊？我呢個有鼻水，抹個鼻鼻。我等時間。行邊邊好啊？1、2、3、4，係咪寫咗？1、2、3、4，有5個。你哋揀。快啲。
I'll say it. This is the worst adventure I've ever been on. I can promise you there definitely was a story here before. Do we need to restart the game again? Well, I find it unlikely that we'll ever progress by starting over and over again, but it's got to be better than this. Okay, let's give it a shot. Why not? All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
No.
Okay, yep, it's worse. I might be remembering this wrong. It's possible the story is back where we just came from. Why don't we go back the other direction and see if we missed anything?
Sorry. They missed it. 個電腦開到嘅，好，哦，咩啊？
Aha! I knew we'd miss something. The story. Here it comes. No, wait. Never mind. Not the story. Okay, let's head back the other way and retrace our steps.
點啊？又讓我翻轉頭。
Now this... Well, I'll be honest. I don't recognize this place at all. Is this the story? I don't think so. I can't quite recall, but I believe my story took place in an office building. Is that correct? Do you remember, Stanley? Well, do you know what? Since I've completely forgotten what we were supposed to be doing, how about this? You win! Congratulations! I know you put in a lot of hard work, and it really paid off, so good job. Oh, no. No, I don't feel right about this at all. We both know you didn't put in any actual work for that win. Some people win fair and square, and this was not one of those situations. Okay? I'm getting weirded out by whatever this place is. I don't care what might happen this time. I have to restart. All right, I've got a solution. This time, to make sure we don't get lost, I've employed the help of the Stanley Parable Adventure Line. Just follow the line. How simple is that? No, I'm down. We're living it up to the line from now on. You see? The line knows where the story is. It's over in this direction. Onward, Stanley, to destiny. Though, here's a thought. Wouldn't wherever we end up be our destination, even if there's no story there? Or to put it another way, is the story of no destination still a story? Simply by the act of moving forward, are we implying a journey such that a destination is inevitably conjured into being via the very manifestation of the nature of life itself? Okay, Stanley, I need to follow this train of thought for a minute. Just stick with me. Now, we can both agree that the nature of existence is in fact a byproduct of one's subjective experience of that existence, right? Okay, now if my experience of your existence rests inside of your subjective experience of this office, is this office in fact the skeleton of my own relative experiential mental subjective construct? Whoa. Hang on, that got a bit weird back there. Well, I'd like to apologize. Not sure where I was going with all that. You know what? I think what we need right now is a bit of music to lighten the mood.
差唔多啫，有啲大聲，音樂有啲大聲，好啦，50啦，有啲嘈，咁樣嘈住我開圖，紅色嘅呢度，音樂有冇版權？唔知有冇版權㗎，使唔使熄咗佢啊？靜音旁白。哦，去邊啊？喺邊度啊？做乜嘢㗎？
Wait, cut the music. Go back
thank you.
and look at that fern.
咩？
Stanley, this fern will be very important later in the story. Make sure you study it closely and remember it carefully. Wait, what? We're back at the office? No. Line, you do know we're looking for the Stanley Parable, right? The story? Is any of this ringing a bell?
Ooh,
Oh, no, not again. Line, how could you have done this to us? And after we trusted you, after everything we've been through, you... Oh, I can't take this anymore. To hell with it. Restart.
Okay.
You know what, Stanley? I say forget the adventure line. What's it ever done for us? We're intelligent people, right? Why can't we make up our own story? Something exciting, daring, mysterious. Ooh, this all sounds perfectly doable. Why don't we simply start wandering in, well, I don't know. How about this direction?
Oh, okay.
Now, yes, this is exciting. Just me and Stanley forging a new path, a new story. Well, it could be anything. What do you want our story to be? Go wild. Use your imagination. Whatever it might be, Stanley, I'm ready for it.
旁白睇開咗，係咪好似美人魚咁開？誒，嗰邊闊啲嘅，呢邊睇闊啲嘅喎。你睇，冇嘢行啦喂！誒，喺邊？
Oh, no, not you again. Stanley, I'd also like to veto the line from having any role in our awesome new story. No lines or monitor rooms. Just don't acknowledge it, and we should be fine. 睇下條線得，佢上到去。嚇？ Ah, a choice. We get to make a decision. From here, the story is in our control. How important we mustn't squander the opportunity. In fact, I believe I need a minute to think here. Just walk in circles for a minute. Okay, so I know that each door has to lead somewhere, which means that somewhere, the place where we're trying to go, there must be a reverse door that leads here. And that in turn means that our destination corresponds with the counter-inverted reverse door's origin. So starting from the right, let us ask, will taking the right door lead us to where we're going? And since the answer is clearly yes, then by all accounts, the door on the right is the correct one. Another victory for logic. Come, Stanley, our destiny awaits. Oh, hold up, what's this? The confusion ending. You're telling me that's what this is? It's all one giant ending? And we're supposed to restart the game, what, eight times? That's really how all this goes? It's all determined? So now, according to the schedule, I restart again. Then what? Am I just supposed to forget? Well, what if I don't want to forget? My mind goes blank simply because it's written here on this thing, wall. Well, who consulted me? Why don't I get to decide? Why don't I get a say in all of this? Is it really? No, it can't be. I don't want it to be. I don't want the game to keep restarting. I don't want to forget what's going on. I don't want to be trapped like this. I won't restart the game. I won't do it. I won't do it. I won't do it. And the timer stopped? Does that mean, did we do it? Did we break the cycle? The, whatever it is that made this schedule? How would we even know? Will someone come for us? Will something happen? So, okay. I guess now we just wait. You know, I suppose in some way that this is a kind of story, wouldn't you agree? I'm not quite sure if we're in the destination or the journey, though they're always saying that life is about the journey and not the destination. So I hope that's where we are right now. We'll find out, won't we? Eventually. Well, in the meantime, if you...
What?
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered that this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. The lounge was grand, majestic, perhaps too, but eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. And so he detoured through the maintenance section, walked straight ahead to the opposite door, and got back on track. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office. But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss. Admitting he had left his post during work hours, he might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for no reason at all? None of it made any logical sense. And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations. For example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down? Why did doors close automatically behind him wherever he went? And for that matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar. Were they simply repeating? No, Stanley said to himself, this is all too strange. This can't be real. And at last, he came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue. He just hadn't found the words for it. I'm dreaming! He yelled. This is all a dream. Oh, what a relief Stanley felt to have finally found an answer, an explanation. His co-workers weren't actually gone. He wasn't going to lose his job. He wasn't crazy after all. And he thought to himself, I suppose I'll wake up soon. I'll have to go back to my boring real-life job pushing buttons. I may as well enjoy this while I'm still lucid. So, he imagined himself flying and began to gently float above the ground. Then he imagined himself soaring through space on a magical starfield, and it too appeared. It was so much fun, and Stanley marveled that he had still not woken up. How was he remaining so lucid? And then perhaps the strangest question of them all entered Stanley's head. One he was amazed he hadn't asked himself sooner. Why is there a voice in my head dictating everything that I'm doing and thinking? Now the voice was describing itself being considered by Stanley, who found it particularly strange. I'm dreaming about a voice describing me, thinking about how it's describing my thoughts, he thought. And while he thought it all very odd and wondered if this voice spoke to all people in their dreams, the truth was that, of course, this was not a dream. How could it be? Was Stanley simply deceiving himself, believing that if he's asleep, he doesn't have to take responsibility for himself? Stanley is as awake right now as he's ever been in his life.
Now, hearing the voice speak these words was quite a shock to Stanley. After all, he knew for certain, beyond a doubt, that this was in fact a dream. Did the voice not see him float and make the magical stars just a moment ago? How else would the voice explain all that? This voice was a part of himself too. Surely, if he could just... He would prove it. He would prove that he was in control, that this was a dream.
Okay.
So he closed his eyes gently, and he invited himself to wake up. He felt the cool weight of the blanket on his skin, the press of the mattress on his back, the fresh air of a world outside this one. Let me wake up, he thought to himself. I'm through with this dream. I wish it to be over. Let me go back to my job. Let me continue pushing the buttons. Please, it's all I want. I want my apartment, and my wife, and my job. All I want is my life exactly the way it's always been. My life is normal. I am normal. Everything will be fine. I am okay.
You have no wife. You have no Wi-Fi.
Stanley began screaming.
Please, someone, wake me up. My name is Stanley. I have a boss. I have an office. I am real. Please, just someone tell me I am real. I must be real. I must be. Can anyone hear my voice? Who am I? Who am I?
And everything went black.
And you don't have...
This is the story of a woman named Mariella.
And you have no job.
Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She rose, got dressed, gathered her belongings, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. And although she would soon turn to go call for an ambulance, for just a few brief moments, she considered the strange man. He was obviously crazy. This much she knew. Everyone knows what crazy people look like. And in that moment, she thought to herself how lucky she was to be normal. I am sane. I am in control of my mind. I know what is real and what isn't. It was comforting to think this, and in a certain way, seeing this man made her feel better. But then she remembered the meeting she had scheduled for that day, the very important people whose impressions of her would affect her career, and by extension, the rest of her life. She had no time for this, so it was only a moment that she stood there, staring down at the body. And then she turned and ran.
無厘頭劇情，做喵寫出 A， 呢個係重新嘅啦。啱啱嗰係 bad end 嘛。
A soft wind blew outside and perhaps rain started, and if it did, it stopped shortly after. Stanley hoped that he would one day see weather.
OK， 未完啊，真係。哦，某人。哎 ，new content。
Oh, new content? What does that mean, new content?
咁我哋入去睇下，入去睇下咯。哦，去邊㗎？哇！去邊啊？邊啊？哦，出乜嘅？哦。
Hello, and thank you for playing the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe. As you may know, the Stanley Parable was a video game released in 2013 on home computers. After receiving critical and commercial success, it was expanded upon in 2022 with the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, a reimagining of the game for consoles and home computers. The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe features exciting new content that broadens and expands the world of the Stanley Parable, delighting audiences the world over. Please, step inside and see what thrilling new adventures await in the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe.
Oh, well, this sounds delightful. I'm very excited to see the thrilling new Ultra Deluxe content. Okay, so far it's an elevator. Nothing special yet, but I'm sure it's just the beginning of a mesmerizing adventure.
Hannah? Why?
Is it broken? What's going on here? Should we be moving somewhere or up? Oh, there we go. All right, finally, at long last, it's on to the new content. I've never been more ready. Let's do it.
咁啊 ，Stanley 好容易被騙。
I have to say, initial impressions of Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, mostly tedious. It's as if Oh, okay. Let's see the content. Give me the content, Stanley.
Jump circle.
All right.
我都冇得跳。
All right, let's see. It's the jump circle.
咩？點解佢點計㗎？有冇得狂撳？長撳得唔得？係啦，終於可以跳。佢唔俾我跳咯。係。佢唔俾我跳。所以咧。所以咧。
Is that it? Surely that's not all the new content. There has to be something else, right? Goodness. Another elevator. Stanley, I have to say, initial impressions of this game are not positive. It's just elevators and jumping. Is this what passes for exciting new content? If this is new content, then I could just read you the whole dictionary. There's 20 hours of new content right there. Hell, I could count to 30 trillion. You could put that on the box. The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, now with over 1,000 hours of new content. And oh, wait. There's more. Very good. Yes. I knew there had to be something else. Let's see it. I'm ready for whatever it is.
Thank you for
That's it?
the new...
Oh, you've got to be kidding me. You see, Stanley? This is what happens when greedy video game developers with no respect for their fan base rush a cheap expansion to market for no reason other than to make an easy dollar. And don't get me started on the level of craftsmanship that's gone into it. In fact, I'm looking right now at the game's achievements, and it's hard to believe one of them actually says, "Test achievement, please ignore." What quality assurance department signed off on this? I'm infuriated and I'm offended, and I intend to find these people on Twitter and hold them personally accountable. It's my fault, Stanley. I built up too much anticipation around the new content, I'm afraid. They could never have lived up to such expectations. If you're still with me, why don't we just reset the game, and we'll try to get back to what the Stanley Parable is really about. No frills, no gimmicks. Just you and me having a great time together like always. What do you say, friend?
嚟啦，都唔係我撳掣㗎啦呢啲。哦。
Psst, Stanley, come over here. In the vent. I want to show you something. Oh, you don't want to see the cool surprise I made for you? Well, fine. You're a dork anyway, so who cares?
係有啲興趣望嘅。
Oh, never mind. You're not a dork.
冇，但係佢閂返咗，咪去唔到咯。都係望下嘅。有咩睇啊？嘿。
Okay, you remember how cheap and unsatisfying the new Ultra Deluxe content turned out to be? Well, it got me thinking about the past and how much better the Stanley Parable used to be. So I made something special and tucked it away here where the game's developers won't find it. Just our little secret. Take a look. I call it the Memory Zone. It's where I've been storing all my favorite memories so I can relive the peak experiences of my life whenever I want. Experiences like the launch of the Stanley Parable on PC. You see, Stanley, doesn't the memory zone remind you of how wonderful Stanley Parable was before it was sullied with a cheap re-release? Remember back in October of 2013, when the game originally launched? Back then, video games had integrity. Back then, it all meant something. Oh, the waste. And over here is where I keep reviews of the Stanley Parable. Like this stunning triumph of games journalism. 10 out of 10 from Destructoid.com. James Stephanie Sterling writes, and I quote, "Where so many games that aspire to be more than games end up less than any form of art, Stanley Parable strives and then succeeds to be every game ever created." Did you hear that, Stanley? Every game ever created. That's how grand and all-encompassing the original Stanley Parable was. It was literally every game ever created. It was Skyrim. It was Persona 3. It was all of them. And now, it's nothing. It's no games at all. It isn't even the Stanley Parable anymore. It's just a husk now. A lifeless husk with an hour of new elevator content.
Okay. Original. Okay， 我落下面望下先。OK， 下面俾我行，上返去。叻啊呢度。
Here's another moving passage, this time from GameSpot.com. The Stanley Parable is both a richly stimulating commentary on the nature of choice in games and one that offers some of the most enjoyable, surprising, and rewarding choices I've ever been confronted with in a game. 9 out of 10. Don't you get it, Stanley? The game...
我哋而家停咗旁白嘅聲咪係咁如果個遊戲咪冇咯 ？Oh no！ 佢冇得玩嚟㗎，可惜㗎。
The story of Stanley.
佢好嘈啊，嘿嘿。佢係咪唔知道我俾我收咗聲㗎？佢係咪唔知㗎？呢度冇得玩，好可惜。
This is...
喂，我呢 ？Serious room， 佢唔俾得入。
These were simpler times, Stanley. What I wouldn't give to go back, to have it all over again. Wait, hang on. I don't recall this part of the memory zone before. What's this? What's down here? Oh no. Oh God, no. Stanley, it's a collection of reviews from Steam, the online video game distributor. I haven't looked at these in years. I can't even imagine what's been collecting down here. Surely these reviews were glowing as well, weren't they? Honestly, I could not be bothered to play this game to full completion. The narrator is obnoxious and unfunny, with his humor and dialogue proving to be more irritating than entertaining. Unfunny! I'm not trying to be funny. I'm trying to make a serious work of art. I suppose I could write up a handful of gags to insert into the Stanley Parable, but the game is already such a densely layered web of profound philosophical insights that I can't even imagine where I'd have the room to stick them.
去邊啊？呢邊有路行，咁大嘅個地圖。行嚟咯。
Okay, let's see what this one says. While the idea for the game is good, for someone who prefers non-linear games, this preachiness gets annoying fast. Preachy? Stanley? I'm not preachy, am I? You can tell me if I'm preachy. Honestly, you can. Oh, goodness. This is actually quite shocking for me. Well, to be honest, I had always thought of the game's dialogue as being rather terse to begin with. You can't know how much fluff I cut from the game to get it to feel as light and airy as it... Well, I always thought it did. But maybe it wasn't. Oh dear. Okay. What an awful memory to have to hold on to. These black marks are my otherwise unimpeachable track record. I feel like a failure. Like I let these people down. Perhaps the Stanley Parable isn't quite as sterling as I always remembered. What's this one got to say? You constantly have to stop doing anything so the narrator can catch up with his long-winded explanations of what's happening. I wish there was a skip button. A skip button? Well, yes. Yes, I think we can do that. If I'm truly too preachy, then maybe letting you skip ahead for just a moment, surely it couldn't hurt. Not if it means we can strike these negative reviews from the record. Only positive reviews of the Stanley Parable. That's my motto today, and it's always been my motto. I'd do anything for the customer, Stanley. Yes, a skip button we shall have. And here it is. Go ahead and give it a shot. I'll pop you forward in time so that the second my incessant droning starts to bore you, with just the push of a button, you'll have zipped right past it. It's what the players have been asking for, and I'm very proud to have delivered. No more listening to me rambling on and on and on. No. Oh, you're back, you see. You were only frozen in time for a few minutes, but it was plenty of time for me to deliver a long, rambling monologue full of Well, there's sport. You really did catch me rambling on a bit, didn't you? But that's the power of the button. The minute I start to go off on a thoughtless display of self-absorption... Okay, welcome back, Stanley. Now, I should say that the amount of time the button has been skipping through is becoming longer and longer. That last one was, well, I want to say maybe 30, 45... Stanley, please don't push the button again. It's been 12 hours. You've just been frozen there. I don't know why the skips are getting longer, but they're really... Oh, Stanley, you're back. You're back. Oh, my goodness. I have someone to talk to again. Stanley, I think it's been a week. Or 2 weeks. Oh, hello. It's you. You're here again. Welcome. I have had time to think about you and about us and about every...
Giờ ta cầm chị mẹ không错了哇個鐘跌咗落嚟
But they didn't understand the game was never meant to be funny. It was meant to have a point. It was meant to speak to the human condition. But where are the jokes? Where are the jokes? They bemoaned, they screamed, they gnashed.
點解突然間佢又講嘢？哦好啊，哦嗨喲，咩？有樓梯，唔講嘢啦嘛，我又再撳掣㗎啦，我撳錯位。
The end is never the end, 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 is never the end.
好嘈。點解？點啊？一日得咁。啊哦，旁白咧，旁白死咗啦。天光啦。 記住。哦，靚。靚噃，撳掣。頭先唔係有草咩？點解啲恐龍嘅叫聲？有恐龍嘅叫聲。哇！睇下，望下先。哦，係咪仲有得撳啊？冇得撳掣啦，個掣壞咗啦。哇！變咗沙漠啊呢度。前面有嘢，嗰邊都有嘢。向住佢向後行，啱下先。哇，係光。係啊，新紀元。我哋到底過咗幾耐？
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
又有新啦。
Oh, good. You noticed my sign. Yes, I have something very exciting to show you.
好似到而家都未真係第一次走咗入佢話左邊嗰間房。佢唔想我哋睇多次，真好。我係咪又要跳啊？
You see, Stanley, I've been reflecting on the Stanley Parable and about how roundly disappointing this ultra deluxe version has turned out to be. The original Stanley Parable was a landmark, and any new content for it should live up to that legacy. So forget this ultra deluxe nonsense. I say we take it one step even further. Which is why I'm very proud to announce for the first time ever the Stanley Parable 2.
做喵啊，安卡！做喵？YouTube 食咗你10分鐘留言。Two.
Yes, you see, isn't this far superior to a measly re-release with a few minor additions? Think of all the new territory we'll cover with a fully fledged sequel. An entirely new experience, built from the ground up. Why, there are so many possibilities. It could go in so many different directions. This is what fans have truly been asking for. Calling it the Stanley Parable 2 is just so much catchier than Ultra Deluxe, don't you think? Ultra Deluxe? What does it even mean? But the Stanley Parable 2, now that's an artistic statement right there. It's future-oriented. It screams progress and innovation and long-term franchising potential. Now, to be clear, I haven't quite nailed down what exactly the Stanley Parable 2 is going to be, but let's take a look at some of the features I've been developing for it. I figure that if I can loosely organize a handful of interesting concepts, that surely the game will sort of naturally spring up around them. It'll all work itself out. Game, here we are. Go on, try out some of the new features.
Right. 會唔會打試試？哇！呢度又有得入去，呢度又有得入去，呢度又有得入去，嗰度又有得入去，會唔會打少少？name 好啊，呢個係咩？
For the Stanley Parable 2, I asked myself, what do players really want? And of course, the first and most obvious answer is that they want to be individually recognized and validated as people. So with that in mind, my first addition to the game is this button which speaks the name of the person playing the game. Isn't that one? Sorry, I should have clarified. Right now, the button only says the name Jim. But of course, in the final game, this button will say your name, whatever name that is. Here, let's have you role-play as Jim to really simulate the full experience of this feature. Just play along. I promise you'll love it. Okay, here we go. Let's take a deep breath, clear your mind, forget whoever you are, and simply become a person named Jim.
Jim.
Whoa, hold on. I wasn't finished setting up the backstory. If you don't properly roleplay as Jim, then you'll never understand the impact of this button. Otherwise, it's just a stupid button that says somebody else's name. Okay, we're doing it again, and this time let me finish first. Now, allow yourself to become Jim.
Jim.
All right, fine, whatever. It's just a meaningless button that says Jim. Are you happy now? Get out of here. I'm done with this button. Why don't you go humiliate me in front of a different feature that I worked very hard on?
Jim.
See, if you'd only played along, that would have been your name the button says, but no. Instead, I can't even think about it. I'm taking the Jim button away.
Jim.
Susie. 佢攞咗咗啊！佢攞咗咗，冇得玩啦。咁而家去邊啊？落返去碌咁，呢個俾佢，唔出返去啦。
Maybe I'll only let people named Jim play the Stanley Parable too. They would appreciate what I've created here.
Oh. 呢度呢？哇，好大啊！黐線。Free new guys. 咁樣啊？好似有啲騙人入去嗰啲唔知乜鬼嘢。Ayano Rin係咪？咩事？哦。
Collectibles. Now it's a real video game. In the Stanley Parable 2, you'll run around gathering up these miniature Stanley figurines. And what's truly innovative is that there will be no reward for collecting all of them. I don't want to stifle the intrinsic joy of watching a number go up. You simply collect all of them, and then you move the hell on with your unremarkable life.
我前面嗰啲咩事？我要搵6隻。Collect them all.
God, it really is the worst when you collect everything in a video game and then they give you a big fancy reward for it. Absolutely tragic.
Infinity Hole. It won't end. 呢個呢 ？Jumps 就係頭先嗰個。
You know what? Let's bring the jump circle back for Stanley Parable 2 as well. It's a... Oh, wait. You already spent all your jumps the first time we saw the jump circle. Oh well. I suppose it can just be a nice decorative piece then. Now here's something special. You remember that broken test achievement that got left in the game on accident? Well, I'm developing a technology to simply give you the achievement. Yes. You see, you'll come to this lever, and when you pull it, the achievement... Okay, perhaps I should have clarified. This is technology that will exist. Right now, the achievement is still fully broken. I'm not a wizard, Stanley, but I guarantee it will be fixed in the sequel to at last satisfy the hordes of ravenous fans all over the world who have been uproariously demanding this feature. Gamers, we hear you. and I promise it will happen.
很悲感。嗱，咁我哋可以走啦。然後呢？然後就有個
What else? What other exhibits haven't we seen yet?
No screen, tender, shots.
Okay, I'll be honest, I haven't yet decided on this one. I think that in the new version, the office could use a bit of decoration, like balloons. But I'm undecided on Get Well Someday and Happy 12th Birthday. Which would you go with? You know, sometimes when you solicit another person's opinion, it makes you realize that you knew which one you actually really wanted all along. Happy 12th birthday, step-niece, it is.
Okay. Okay.
Or actually, maybe I should have gone with... No. No, I've made my decision. We're moving on.
頭先爭邊度咩係？唔分知。好。係咪先？我有藝術品，呢個係咩？臉，好很白嘅。咩啊？
Stanley, here's an idea that I'm truly fond of. It's never been done before in a video game. This is, in fact, a hole that you can fall down forever. That's right. Infinite falling. You can fall until the end of time, if you like. A stunning leap forward for video games as a medium.
Oh. Whoa.
You see? Isn't it wonderful? One of my more ingenious concoctions, if I do say so. Now then, since you've gotten to see the infinite hole, you can press the teleport button to pop back up to the top, and we can continue onward.
Whee!
Now, I don't mean to be a bummer, but I do recommend you use the teleport button to go back to the top. Maybe do it on the sooner rather than later spectrum of things. Okay, Stanley. I don't know quite how to say this tactfully, but it's possible that I slightly exaggerated the infinite nature of the hole. Is it a very, very deep hole? To be certain it is. It's an extremely deep hole. I don't want anyone to say that it isn't an astonishingly deep hole. It is. Is it infinite? Well, that sort of depends on your definition of infinity. From one perspective, the infinite is merely philosophical in nature. It's more of a... Okay, well, good for you. You found the bottom of the hole. You found me out, Stanley. I'm a liar and a cheat, and you're so clever. Look, I think the issue here is just that you're unusually fascinated by falling. What normal person actually wants to fall infinitely? I figured the hole was as deep as anyone would actually need. Don't you put this on me. Maybe you're the problem. Look, things got a little heated there. I think we both said some things we didn't mean. Why don't we just put all this behind us and agree to just call the hole mostly infinite? If that works for you, then go ahead and press the teleport button to warp up to the top of the hole and we can move on. I'll just be up here when you're ready.
我哋唔講，我哋唔撳掣，佢係咪就會唔喐㗎啦？我哋試下唔撳掣嘅話會點啊？我哋試下 keep 住咁樣，唔喐，乜都唔做，係咪可以喐嘅？但係我哋唔撳掣啦。但係佢好似冇喎，我哋可以擺幾耐啊？呢個？你哋可以同我傾下偈先，直到佢突然間講翻嘢，再跳一次，係咪啊？可以啊，可以啊，可以啊，你等一陣。
Great. Now, I'm very excited to show you. Oh, for heaven. You see, I was right. The problem is you. The problem is that you like holes too much. Not normal. A normal person would have said, yep, that's an infinite hole right there. Goes on forever till the end of time. Don't need to see it all, but not you. Oh, no, 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 no. You have a weird sort of... Oh. Did the hole seem even shorter to you this time? I couldn't help but feel like you spent a little less time in there than you did before. I mean, admittedly, I didn't make an infinite hole. I didn't think it was that not infinite. Well, I suppose once again there's nothing to do here. If you decide you've had enough of the hole, you can hit the teleport button and come join me up above.
唱首歌先，唱咩歌？1 2哒啦哒哒哒啦哒哒个，哒啦哒哒。Emergency 0時奴らは crazy in the town うちにこもってゴロゴロゴロゴロと堕落の夜に絡みづいたルールール話す言葉はルールール腐っていた性能も常識も意味を持たない都会にさよならじゃ
Had enough? I'm positively thrilled. I really do have so much more to show you and to talk about. Gosh, how could I have guessed? You're back in the hole. If this starts to become a thing where... Wow. Okay. Yes. I'm starting to become extremely certain that the hole is not only not infinite, but that it's growing steadily less and less infinite. I suspect that I'm starting to hit the point where it's no longer feasible to call the hole infinitely deep, even by the lax overall standards for accountability and marketing. What's going on here? Stanley, I have no explanation for the uncertain nature of the hole's length. Here, let's try something. Let's pop back up to the top, and we'll see if it gets any shorter.
Whoa, 引き込ませたジャスティスをねの私だけの鬼の中で聞き越してなんで骨の私の根が君に染まるまで引き込ませたジャスティスをねの私だけの鬼の中で聞き越してなんで骨の私の根を君が包むだけ時が来た今を絵が放つのさうちにこもってくる一作はい我等一下實驗嘅再轉出
The shame of my lie has come. How is this still appealing to you? I know you're obsessed with holes, but at this depth, I just can't see this scratching the itch. Oh, who am I to judge? You just do whatever it is you're here to do and hit the teleport button when you're ready to move on.
Okay. Is
the, teleport button not working? You sure? Well, I mean, I really don't have an explanation. It's still nothing. Well, I suppose there is one thing I can do to fix this. I'm out. Goodbye, Stanley. You couldn't bear to be away from the hole, and now you'll get more time with it than you could ever have asked for. It's a win for everyone. You get to be with the hole, I get to do literally anything else. Take care, Stanley. I hope you and the hole have a wonderful rest of eternity together.
Come back. Hey. What the fuck? 我哋先唱到邊啊？Emergency 0時さすがにクレイジーな計画はほたぶつぐるぐるぐるぐると世界は川夏回っていたルールル君の視線がルールルぼやけてつけるマリオネットな感情に気づいてしまった喺緊邊啊？好啦，我哋入緊去個窿，我哋慢慢咁深入個窿嗰度。問我哋有咩做㗎呢度？ 我有得改變我嘅觀點，即係點樣改變我嘅觀點？試點係嘛？嚇鬼！What the fuck？ What？ 點解要咁大聲做乜？你好吵，你就吵，我先唔吵。咩叫改變我嘅認知？有音樂嘅。紅色粒仔咩嚟？邊度有紅色粒仔啊？紅色嗰個杯嚟嘅。H 啊！首先，好黑啊！狗啊！等點樣改變我自己？我突然間我有得改變，我做咗啲咩啊？我倒立㗎啦！我仲有可以點樣改變出面啊？哦！有下擋住咗，唔緊要，我讀俾你聽，佢叫做現實。改變我自己。
Stanley!
Eh?
Oh good, you're awake. It seems you had sort of dozed off there, drifting away into dreamland. But we can't have that, Stanley, because this hole is just so darn fascinating that I want you to be wide awake for every second of it. You don't want to miss a single moment. So how about if I just pop in from time to time and wake you up to keep you really, truly focused on the hole? From the looks of things, you and I will have many, many years here in this hole, and I'm looking forward to all of them. Stay alert, Stanley. I'll be back. Toodlepip.
做咩嚟㗎？我又再跌過落去。我頭先唱到邊㗎？哦，冇咗。我遮住嗰個位，佢有個 loading 嘅。我係咪可以再去跳窿
Here we are. Go on. Try out some of the new features.
跳窿。Sorry。我哋睇下佢個，我哋睇下個窿封咗未啊 ？Sorry。爆得滯咁樣，仲要食咗條魚。點解係魚？點解今日係食魚？我唔明啊！門都封埋。下面呢度去咗 exit， 乜地係 exit？ 呢度上去係 exit， 去俾上。哦，要行呢度上，咁唔走住，我哋去其他地方睇下先咋。點解會食魚啊？因為阿媽煮咗魚，冇得唔食。貓食魚好正常，但我係一隻唔食魚嘅貓。我唔知你明唔明？係啊，但我係一隻唔食魚嘅貓嚟嘅。Best new 喺上邊，點上？我呢度。對於唔食魚嘅貓貓慘嘅。
An epilogue would be fun, wouldn't it, Stanley? Yes, it would go at the end of the, well, we'll figure that out later.
呢時喺嗰度，呢度係邊度？呢度係邊？做乜嘢㗎？呢度？我嗰度未上喎。北劇，什麼鬼北劇？去邊㗎？陣間先，我要過去嗰個。我可唔可以再撳嗰個掣啊？但係我覺得佢收起咗。 魚湯得唔得？魚湯 OK 嘅，我好中意飲湯嘅。我係唔中意食魚，唔食軟骨，係我會近親。睇下呢個係邊嘅？
A common complaint of the Stanley Parable was that it was confusing and paradoxical, that it engendered a chaotic sense of reckless despair in those who played it. Well, I'm happy to say that after much consideration, I've engineered a clever solution to this fundamental problem with the game. It's the Stanley Parable Reassurance Bucket. You see, Stanley, anytime you're holding the bucket, a sense of calm and ease will fill your mind and your heart. It's true. As long as you hold on to the bucket, the many disorienting contradictions of the Stanley Parable will feel perfectly normal and perhaps even comforting. You may even come to long for the gentle embrace of jarring cognitive dissonance while the bucket is in your arms. And to be honest, it's a much more convenient solution for me than actually redesigning the game to be less uncomfortable. Can you imagine what a pain in the ass that would be? Yes, the bucket is the perfect solution. Come on, give it a try. Can you feel it? The glow of comfort, even in the face of crushing despair, must already be sweeping through your body. And in fact, can I say that I do believe the bucket lends you an air of charisma as well? I think that just holding it has made you the slightest bit more attractive as a person. The benefits of the bucket seem to go on, don't they? All this and more await you in the Stanley Parable 2.
咁即係我要攬住
Does anyone give out awards for most enjoyable bucket in a video game? That really should be an award if it isn't already.
呢個係邊嘅？呢個係頭先我未去嘅地方。喺邊啊？呢度係。睇下，放置世界冠軍，問我，我係咪要攞埋嗰隻？係咪要攞埋嗰幾隻嘢？嗰個唔知乜鬼嘢公仔 ，Fine。佢唔俾我揾，冇得揾公仔。完㗎咯喎，咁你就睇完啦。去晒啦，應該。睇下先。Some circle is not free 乜鬼嘢 button that say your name。預設咧，預設係 merge。B2咧。有 B2咩 ？bucket。OK， 得啦。跳跳圈。走咯。
All right. Have you seen everything you wanted to? Ready to move on now?
佢走音。No。係啊，走啦。佢塊面係咩事？
So, Stanley, what do you think? Do you like all of the new features? Yes, I know it's not exactly clear yet how exactly these features will come together as one single coherent video game, but I can feel it in my soul. It's going to work. There's definitely a good game in there somewhere. Say, let's do an experiment. I'll arrange these new features together, and we'll see whether or not it coheres into a meaningful gameplay experience. Okay. Are you ready? Here it is. I give you the Stanley Parable 2.
隻公仔喺上邊。
Well, I mean, there's potential here, right? It's sort of... Okay, never mind. Hold on, let me do a different arrangement. Yes, this is much better. I feel good about this. Here we go. Version 2.
What the hell?
Who am I kidding, Stanley? This isn't a coherent video game at all. It's a lot of gags. And I do very much enjoy creating gags, but they don't add up to anything. I wanted more than anything to create a sequel that would capture all the magic of the first game. I wanted fans to love it. No matter how good these gags are, they won't stand on their own. They would need the structure and the gameplay of the original. Wait, maybe that's it. I can take the original Stanley Parable and simply, well, insert a few of my new features into it. Tastefully, of course. With respect. With care for the vision and integrity of the original game. Would it possibly work? I suppose it could. But it would need a really, really tremendous title screen. A title screen that says with bold and uncompromising conviction, this is the Stanley Parable 2. Let me see if I can whip something up. All right, perfect. Go ahead. Take a look.
OK， 佢搞到成個恐怖 game 咁嘅，點解？你睇下紅色嘅。佢即係加咗啲藍色波波喺度。
What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. Stanley picked up the bucket.
可唔可以抌翻低？唔係，可唔可以抌翻低？啊！我拎起咗個桶做乜嘢？佢有幾多個 ending 㗎？
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
我右邊嗰度門嗰啲走晒未吧？我唔記得咗有冇隻行過。我哋行呢邊。
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be.
What the...
And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Was this better than the meeting room? Yes, Stanley thought to himself. Yes, perhaps it truly was. How insightful the bucket turned out to be.
呢度有冇公仔㗎？有公仔嘅話叫我停㗎咯喎，你哋要。
No, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room. 有冇公仔啊？哦，我行，呢邊有冇公仔
？No,
said the bucket.
Don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift, yes. Go there. Go to the cargo lift. Good, said the bucket. Now ride the lift all the way to the top. There's something up there I need you to do.
Stanley did not question why or how this bucket was speaking to him. It should have alarmed him, of course, because buckets can't talk. But Stanley chose not to think about this obvious fact. He was firmly convinced that the bucket had spoken to him, and he unthinkingly did whatever the bucket asked.
How?
In here,
said the bucket.
Go into this dark room over here.
Stanley once again obeyed blindly.
Oh. Hey.
Now pick up the phone, said the bucket. Pick up the phone and it will take us back home, where we can go about life together.
Whoa, hold on. Why did you unplug the phone? Were you trying to resist the bucket's orders? Stanley, I was joking. Obviously, the bucket isn't talking to you and telling you to do things. Buckets can't talk. It was a joke. Don't you get the joke? It's funny, Stanley. A talking bucket. Can't you see? Oh, goodness. I must have really bungled up the delivery if you actually took me seriously. Where did I mess up the joke? Should I have paused for longer or spoken quicker? Comedic timing is so difficult. I wish I were better at it. But there isn't exactly an instructional video on comedy that one can watch to fully... Oh, wait, yes, there is. It's sitting right here. Let's take a look.
What is comedic timing? What is comedic timing? How does it work? How long should it last? How can it be used to effectively silence your political enemies? And more importantly, can it be taught in its entirety within 90 seconds? Thankfully, the answer to all of these questions is yes. Let's dive deeper. If you've ever told a joke or made someone laugh, in all likelihood, you did it while standing 50 to 80 centimeters from them in a room of no more than 76 degrees Fahrenheit, with one of your arms raised straight upward at a 15-degree angle from your body. These are the optimal conditions for good comedic timing. To begin the joke, start by stating and spelling your name. Next, provide a brief synopsis of the joke, including the specific times at which the recipient of the joke will laugh, and then spell out your name a second time. With these steps complete, it's time to begin the humor. Speak the entire joke in no more than 18 seconds and no less than 13 and a half, pausing only for bathroom breaks when necessary. When the joke has concluded, it is customary to inform your listener that the joke is over by declaring in your loudest possible voice, "I'm Dunny with the funny." Let's practice screaming, "I'm Dunny with the funny" now. Good. This saying is a perfect example of expectations management, which is the cornerstone of good comedy. Finally, it's time to hand out surveys. Collecting hard data from your audience on how rapt they were throughout the joke is the only way to grow or learn as a comedian. An effective survey should be no less than 10 pages long and should include the same question reprinted several times, just to ensure the survey taker is actually paying attention and not simply filling in answers at random. And that's all there is. With these strategies at your disposal, you'll have audiences doubled over in laughter and even tripled over in laughter in no time at all. Just remember to let them stop laughing at some point, you gut-busting little scamp. After all, we're each of us needed on the front lines of the war to fight the 12-legged invader who threaten our very existence and who very likely die in a hailstorm of bullets and mandibles. All of us must be prepared to give our lives to this noble cause, just as our children must do after us, and their children after them. Godspeed, and may Earth reign supreme.
Hey, goodness, this video is a little outdated, isn't it? Well, no matter. I think the fundamentals of proper comedic timing are still as relevant today as they were back then. So with that in mind, I believe the only way forward is for us to return to the two doors and walk through all of this again, so I can try telling my story with more appropriate comedic delivery. Come along, let's head back.
Hello. 咁咪行落去佢又封住咗，唔俾我跳落去啦。
I can feel it. This time, I'm really going to nail the delivery. You'll be in stitches. A talking bucket, you'll say? How ridiculous. How absurd. What a hilarious concept. The king of comedy. That's what you'll call me. Thank goodness we had the instructional video. Otherwise, who knows where we'd be right now. Well, I wouldn't be the king of comedy, that's for sure. The bucket spoke to Stanley.
The bucket spoke.
The bucket spoke. Oh, I'll figure it out on the fly. No need to overthink things.
可唔可以開翻呢個兵啊？我咪唔攬住個 bucket。No。點攞翻去啦？攞翻去。係咪同之前一樣？如果再入去，佢就會鎖住咗啦。
Here we go. You ready? When Stanley and the bucket came to a set of two open doors, they entered the door on the left. 黑色㗎。 We're back at the phone already? No. What's going on? There was supposed to be several rooms leading up to this. There was supposed to be a build-up to this point. A dramatic display of remarkable comedic wit which culminates in this scene with the phone. But now the timing's completely off. The joke will never land. Well, not the way it was meant to. And it's all my fault. I must have forgotten that the phone room comes immediately after the two doors room. What an egregious mistake. I've made a fool of myself. I don't deserve the title of King of Comedy. I'm nothing. I'm not even the lowliest joke-telling well. I think I need to go back and rewatch that instructional video again. Surely that will help me improve my... Here we go. You ready? When Stanley and the bucket came to a set of two open doors, they entered the door on the left.
I found it. Okay. 特别发汗，谢谢你。Come
What? We're back at the phone already? No.
Okay.
Here we go. You ready? When Stanley and the bucket came to a set of two open doors, they entered the door on the left.
Go.
No. You were supposed to go through the door on the right, leading back to the phone. Did you not even look at the instructional video? I think this is all covered very clearly.
Yeah.
There's no way I can make the comedic timing work now. It's done. The joke is completely done and over. It's all your fault, Stanley. I'm going to be ridiculed in the community of other joke writers. I'm going to be shamed at every one of our meetings from now on. All because you couldn't watch a simple video and take a hint. Are you proud of yourself for bringing me down, Stanley? Are you proud?
Stanley, you're not the bucket so much as like you... It's as though all of your other most prized possessions pale in comparison. Yes. Well, let me try that again, Stanley. I heard that you are pale with shame over how unabashedly in love with a bucket you are. No? Still not? Is it the delivery? Pale with shame. Pale with shame? Pale... What's another word to describe a bucket? Stanley, this bucket is so mental. I think I saw it playing guitar. No. We're getting away from making fun of Stanley's obsession with the bucket, which was the whole point of this. I'm no good at these jokes. I need more instructional videos. That's exactly what it is. That's what will make me the king of comedy again. More instructional videos. Let's see.
有完咗，下次重新直接正音旁白嗰啲，係 can try 黑色嘅唔係紅色嘅，啲嘢變咗紅色。超靜嘅，有電話響。唔係呢個電話響咩？呢個。
Hello. This is a recorded message scheduled either by you or a person in your place of work. The purpose of this message is to warn you about the dangers of recorded messages. If at any time you believe you are listening to a recorded message, please terminate it immediately and cease all flow of information from the recorded message into your perceptual sphere. Thank you, and have a pleasant day.
旁白好勁啊！佢連字幕都冇啊！咦？冇試過喎。字幕，佢唔講咁多嘢。點啊？左邊係咪有公仔啊？喺邊度有公仔執啊？係咪有公仔啊？喺邊個位啊？下面啊？下面公仔喺邊啊？唉，教返佢哋先知。有啲唔習慣佢冇。
This is the story of a man named Stanley.
Okay. 下面 世界安靜晒。下面定呢度啊？阿 Jo， 你知唔知係邊兩隻公仔？定係隻公仔已經消失咗？哇！清靜咗。嗶嗶啊！嗶嗶嗶嗶。右邊門，直接跳去得。右邊門呢度，前面。你講邊度？到門嗰個。嘟嘟。下面有冇嘢睇㗎？其實應該同頭先一樣啫，我諗。你手機震咗下。右邊好大個窗戶，好大個窗戶。呢度？前邊？點解個旁白靜咗？呢度喺邊嘅？呢度係左邊嗰度咯。Okay.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
好紅啊！
But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss. Admitting he had left his post during work hours, he might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for no reason at all. None of it made any logical sense. And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations. For example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down? Why did doors close automatically behind him wherever he went? And for that matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar. Were they simply repeating? No, Stanley said to himself, this is all too strange. This can't be real. And at last, he came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue. He just hadn't found the words for it. I'm dreaming! He yelled. This is all a dream. Oh, what a relief Stanley felt to have finally found an answer, an explanation. His co-workers were... 真咩？直接 refill 啲咩？再次開始遊戲。我就打字。OK， 開始。OK。How wonderful! Stanley was alone. Finally. This is great, he thought to himself. This is what I've wanted all along. I got what I wanted. When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, he entered the door on his left. 右邊好大個倉庫嗰度，右邊門直接跳落去啫。This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. It was okay. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. What? But in his eagerness to prove that he is in control of the story and no one gets to tell him what to do, Stanley leapt from the platform and plunged to his death. Good job, Stanley. Everyone thinks you are very powerful. All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
直行之後咧，使唔使搭嗰架 lift 啊？黑咗嘅。你呢度邊度？我哋行過呢度咩？
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. It was okay. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
好大個倉庫嗰度。
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
呢度落到去。做乜嘢啊？
Stanley had now gotten himself so far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun. So far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun. So far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun. So far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun. So far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun. So far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun.
You didn't think I was actually just a recording, did you? What a silly and trite explanation that would be. All the back and forth between you and me, all the absurd adventures we've been through, and it all turns out I'm just a tape recording? It was all just in Stanley's head. I bet that's the kind of twist you think is revelatory. I bet each and every time you watch a movie where it turns out all to be in the main character's imagination, you must absolutely bolt off the couch in pure shock at the phenomenal and intricate storytelling. It must be so simple to be you. Life being an unending waterfall of surprises and delights. How much more exciting you must find the world than the rest of us do. Now I've become sad. Look what you've done to me. This is all your fault.
No. Huh? Huh?
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. It was okay. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. You found one of them. One of the miniature Stanley figurines. Remember, no reward for collecting all of these, only the intrinsic pleasure of a job well done. You can't buy that sort of happiness, Stanley. God knows I've tried. So, I implore you to savor each and every moment you come across one of these beautiful figurines. But in his eagerness to prove that he is in control of the story and no one gets to tell him what to do, Stanley leapt from the platform and plunged to his death. Good job, Stanley. Everyone thinks you are very powerful. All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Okay. How we can find them? 佢咪話俾我知佢喺邊啊？ Stairs has something to do with the 樓梯 something blue 同埋 red 哦，嗰間紅色、藍色嗰間房點樣去㗎 ？Nearby a fireplace BB 嗰度 a private but smelly place for an important person。我唔知第6個係咩，但係4、5我知，但我唔記得咗點樣去藍色同紅色嗰度。唔緊要，我哋行咗先，上去啊嚇。
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
呢個係咩
？Another miniature Stanley figurine. This, you know, there really must be a snappier name for these things. What about mini-stands? Stanley figs? Or what about Stanlerines? Yes, I think I like that. Another Stanlerine under your belt.
Because the boss knows what the boss says goes. If the boss loses, then that's what the boss choose. What the hell? 我冇樣，亂咁行，係啊，我係亂咁行㗎啦而家。哦，好多書，哇，有鋼琴啊！
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this. What dark secret was being held from him? What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this. Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
Okay, I'm going back to the name of these little Stanley figurines, and now I'm torn between Stanlerines and Figlies. What do you think, Stanley? What name better encapsulates the intrinsic sense of happiness that you get from seeing a small number in the corner of your screen go up by 1? Let me sit on it. I'm sure it will come to me.
Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long. Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Escape. 前面係咩嚟㗎？呢度係 escape 嘅。前面有咩做法？算啦得啦。
Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley would meet his violent death. Have the strength to find out.
你loading緊？我都 loading 緊，個個都 loading 緊。睇下先，load 完未啊？load 完未啊？load 完我嗰個。 你仲撈緊呢啲咩？搞咩啊？撈完未啊？我個撈完。OK，行得。 應該我見佢就唔驚冇事冇事，我冇講啲乜嘢。
Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
所以講，咁做什麼？所以咧，佢啱啱直接跳咗落0個 KB， 唔好意思。頭先卡咗喺邊啊？頭先卡咗喺側邊，我都拎個電話喺我前面嗰先，容易啲望下我邊個位卡咗。OK， 嗱下，打呢係咪
No, he refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never. It was unthinkable, wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world? But here was the proof, the heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions, happy or sad or content, walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
Ooh, 好大哦。System power on.
Oh, Stanley, you didn't just activate the controls, did you? After they kept you enslaved all these years, you go and you try to take control of the machine for yourself. Is that what you wanted? Control? Oh, Stanley, I applaud your effort, I really do. But you need to understand, there's only so much that machine can do. You were supposed to let it go, turn the controls off, and leave. If you want to throw my story off track, you're going to have to do much better than that. I'm afraid you don't have nearly the power you think you do. For example, and I believe you'll find this pertinent, Stanley suddenly realized he had just initiated the network's emergency detonation system. In the event that this machine is activated without proper DNA identification, nuclear detonators are set to explode, eliminating the entire complex. How long until detonation then? Let's say, 2 minutes. Now this is making things a little more fun, isn't it, Stanley? It's your time to shine. You are the star. It's your story now. Shape it to your heart's desires. Oh, this is much better than what I had in mind. What a shame we have so little time left to enjoy it. Mere moments until the bomb goes off. But what precious moments each one of them is. More time to talk about you, about me, where we're going, what all this means. I barely know where to start. What's that? You'd like to know where your co-workers are? A moment of solace before you're obliterated? All right, I'm in a good mood. You're gonna die anyway. I'll tell you exactly what happened to them. I erased them. I turned off the machine. I set you free. Of course, that was merely in this instance of the story. Sometimes when I tell it, I simply let you sit there in your office forever, pushing buttons endlessly and then dying alone. Other times, I let the office sink into the ground, swallowing everyone inside, or I let it burn to a crisp. I have to say this, though, this version of events has been rather amusing. Watching you try to make sense of everything and take back the control wrested away from you is quite rich. I almost hate to see it go. But I'm sure whatever I come up with on the next go-around will be even better. My goodness, only 34 seconds left. But I'm enjoying this so much. You know what? To hell with it. I'm going to put some extra time on the clock, why not? These are precious additional seconds, Stanley. Time doesn't grow on trees. Oh dear me, what's the matter, Stanley?
Is it that you have no idea where you're going or what you're supposed to be doing right now? Or did you just assume when you saw that timer that something in this room was capable of turning it off? I mean, look at you. Running from button to button, screen to screen, clicking on every little thing in this room. These numbered buttons, no, these colored ones. Or maybe this big red button, or this door. Everything, anything, something here will save me. Why would you think that, Stanley? That this video game can be beaten? Won? Solved? Do you have any idea what your purpose in this place is? Stanley, you're in for quite a disappointment. But here's a spoiler for you. That timer isn't a catalyst to keep the action moving along. It's just seconds ticking away to your death. You're only still playing instead of watching a cutscene because I want to watch you for every moment that you're powerless. To see you made humble. This is not a challenge. It's a tragedy. You wanted to control this world, that's fine. But I'm going to destroy it first, so you can't. Take a look at the clock, Stanley. That's 30 seconds you have left to struggle. 30 seconds until a big boom and then nothing. No ending here, just you being blown to pieces. Will you cling desperately to your frail life? Or will you let it go peacefully? Another choice. Make it count. Or don't. It's all the same to me, all a part of the joke. And believe me, I will be laughing at every second of your inevitable life from the moment we fade in until the moment I say happily ever after.
有冇轉啊？冇。OK。哦，係啊！返工又。
How wonderful! Stanley was alone. Finally, this is great. He thought to himself. This is what I've wanted all along. I got what I wanted.
樓梯邊度有公仔話？樓梯嗰度，樓梯。
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
點樣行去好多樓梯嗰度，係咁跳樓嗰度？記唔記得？有冇印象？冇，我冇呢個印象。我冇乜印象。我記得我有跳過，但我唔記得我喺邊度。我點樣行去跳㗎？我未去到紅色嗰個啊！我未去到道門同埋跳樓嗰度，我要去道門嗰度先有得去跳樓。咁道門喺邊呢？我唔記得。
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
唔係下面啊，跟住啱嘅路行，即係呢度。
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. What could it mean? Stanley wondered aloud to nobody. He began wildly tearing through papers on the boss's desk, pulling books off the shelf, looking behind paintings, desperate for clues to his situation. But his attention was caught by a keypad behind the boss's desk. What could its purpose be? In fact, this keypad guarded the terrible secret that lay buried below his feet. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this. It was incredible. By simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
跟住啱嘅路啊！點樣為啱嘅路？我揾唔返紅色嗰道門啊，同埋藍色嗰道門啊，點算？
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility. Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley would meet his violent death.
Huh?
The door behind him was not shut. Stanley still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track. At this point, Stanley was making a conscious, concerted effort to walk forward and willingly confront his death.
嚟啦嚟啦，點啊？喺邊嘅你？哦！係咧。
As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley was inched closer and closer to his demise, he reflected that his life had been of no consequence whatsoever. Stanley can't see the bigger picture. He doesn't know the real story, trapped forever in his narrow vision of what this world is. Perhaps his death was of no great loss, like plucking the eyeballs from a blind man. And so he resigned and willingly accepted this violent end to his brief and shallow life. Farewell, Stanley.
Farewell, Stanley, cried the narrator, as Stanley was led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, Stanley was obliterated as the machine crushed every bone in his body, killing him instantly. And yet it would be just a few minutes before Stanley would restart the game, back in his office, as alive as ever. What exactly did the narrator think he was going to accomplish? When every path you can walk has been created for you long in advance, death becomes meaningless, making life the same. Do you see now? Do you see that Stanley was already dead from the moment he hit start?
點解變咗女旁白？啱嘛？點解嘅？開發團隊呢邊係邊嘅？哦，老闆間房。哦，呢度邊度？
Where were all of his co-workers? Oh, I don't know. How about they're throwing a surprise party for him for all his button pushing? Does that sound plausible to you?
Oh. 我點樣返去藍色紅色間房？我唔記得咗喺邊啦。我完全零印象啦。上下 lift 開關，哇，好大，超大啲！我哋行去北度，行去呢個 exit。
Oh, look at these two. How they wish to destroy one another. How they wish to control one another. How they both wish to be free. Can you see? Can you see how much they need one another? No, perhaps not. Sometimes these things cannot be seen. But listen to me. You can still save these two. You can stop the program before they both fail. Push escape and press quit. There's no other way to beat this game. As long as you move forward, you'll be walking someone else's path. Stop now and it'll be your only true choice. Whatever you do, choose it. Don't let time choose for you. Don't let time...
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
紅色嗰間房，但我真係唔係好記得點樣去。有冇人記得？我記得啦，我記得啦，右邊。
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. It was okay. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone... What? Really? I was in the middle of something. Do you have zero consideration for others? Are you that convinced that I want something bad to happen to you? Why, I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really do want to help you, to show you something beautiful. Look, let me prove it. Let me prove that I'm on your side. Give me a chance. Now listen carefully, this is important. You're getting close now, Stanley. You've nearly gotten all of the Ayano Rins. Very soon, you'll collect the last one, and then the first number will equal the second number, and that will be it. We'll be different people by then. Different in the sense that we used to have none of them. And now we have them all. You can't go back to when you had no Ayano Rins. None of us can. Perhaps you misunderstood. Stanley walked through the red door.
Sorry.
I still don't think we're communicating properly. Stanley walked through... Oh, thank God you are willing to listen to me. Do you see that I really have wanted you to be happy all this time? The problem is all these choices. The two of us always trying to get somewhere that isn't here. Running and running and running, just the way you're doing right now. Don't you see that it's killing us, Stanley? I wanted to stop. We would both be so much happier if we just stopped. And I think, well, I think I have a solution. Here, let me show you. What do we want? What are we looking for? Here. Oh, it's beautiful, isn't it? No, wait. Where are you going? Oh, no. Stay away from those stairs. If you hurt yourself, if you die, the game will reset. We'll lose all of this.
I'm finding the...
Please, no, Stanley, let me stay here. Don't take this from me. Please, Stanley, think about... No! Oh, thank God. You lived. You had me worried there for a moment. Now, can we please get back to the other room? There. See? This is what you want. This is where we can both be happy. We really can. If we stop moving, we just have to stop moving.
So, 果然都係呢個房靚，呢一粒紅色嘅，係咪一定要自殺死先至可以出返去啊？呢度咁跳多2次啦，不如係好多樓梯喎都係咪？但我佢話樓梯，我哋諗起呢個樓梯。
Stanley, go back. There's nothing good that can come from this.
都冇嘢好睇，睇落去你又唔同我講咗啲乜嘢，唔制我要跳。
No, what are you doing? Do you just not believe me? What can I say to convince you?
咩係？咩跳嗰個定係咁兜嗰個樓梯？咩係咁兜嗰個樓梯？邊個？哇
Stanley, let's go back to the other room. Can you do that for me? My God, is this really how much you dislike my game? That you'll throw yourself from this platform over and over to be rid of it? You were literally willing to kill yourself to keep me from being happy. Am I reading the situation correctly?
邊個係上同落嗰個樓梯？仲未死喎。
Maybe you're just getting a kick out of it. I don't know anymore. I just wanted us to get along. But I guess that was too much to ask. It looks like you wanted to make a choice after all. Well, this one is yours.
左邊門揀上同落，嗰個係電梯、樓梯。哦，嗰個，陣間再去咯。
Is it over? It's going to restart, isn't it? I'm going back. All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
我冇乜印象。係咯，爭呢個。Stair, something to do with stair. 有啲嘢要做，同條樓梯。With stair. 呢度。
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office. And there it is, the last Stiggly Wiggly. Savor this moment, Stanley. This is a real accomplishment. This is doing something just for the sake of doing it. Where so many people expect to be rewarded for the most trivial achievements, you've insisted that a job well done is its own reward. I would tell you that I'm proud of you for collecting them all, but that would be like a reward, and we can't have that. So, instead I'll just say, it's done. We're all done here. And now we can go to whatever the hell you were doing before you hunted for figurines.
6/6等於1。但我哋而家仲有啲咩做啊？我已經唔知有咩可以做啦。Whoa.
The moment he entered his manager's office, Stanley froze in his tracks. Not a living soul anywhere. Could he really be? Stanley was in such a rush to get through the story as quickly as possible, he didn't even have a single minute to just let the narrator talk. That kind of anxiety isn't healthy, so he relaxed for a few moments with some calming New Age music.
What the fuck? 我記得你個密碼啫，唔使咁吧。Hey!
Feeling soothed and rejuvenated, Stanley calmly walked forward into the opened passageway.
咁佢前面撳 off 咯，睇先。係咪？我上翻去。咁啱就有咩用
Whoops. Nope. Never mind. Stanley actually got back into the elevator and went back up. Silly me. Why did Stanley do that when he knew that it would just lead back to his boss's office? Well, that's a great question. I just can't wait to find out. Here we are, Stanley. It's your boss's office. Exactly the way it was before you got onto the elevator. It's still just exactly what it is. What a decision you've made to come up here and look at the office again. This has fleshed out the plot of the story in new and fascinating ways I could have never anticipated. It's that keen eye for storytelling that you have, an incisive rapid fire of critical plot points, one after the other, weaving a rich tapestry of uncompromising narrative. Wow! I'm bolted to the edge of my seat.
Yeah, 仲有冇得㗎嘛嘛？ OK， 冇啦，真係，我咁咪落返去咯。
Incredible. Now he's getting back into the elevator and going down again. Ladies and gentlemen, how does he keep coming up with all of this?
好煩。
Surely this time Stanley will walk forward into the spooky corridor, won't he? Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Go.
Did you think we were going to go forward down the spooky corridor? No. It's time once again to go back up in the elevator. I can't even begin to grapple with what might be up there. Is it the boss's office again? Or what if it's the boss's office this time? The suspense is killing me.
我諗我玩埋啲次都差唔多啦，今日3個鐘啊，我記得。我都諗緊啦。
Oh my God! It's the boss's office. This absolutely changes everything for me. Give me a time out here for a minute while I process this.
等我講咩先？飲返啖水。
Okay, I'm ready. I'm prepared to embrace this stunning revelation and to move forward with... No! No, wait! No! I need more time to process.
喂，有你。啊！旁白入咗 IC 要幾多錢？唔知，唔知，笑死個旁白。
All right. I have fully come to terms with it. I have made space in my worldview for this astonishing new reality. As before, I turn to your expert eye for gripping narrative, Master Stanley.
哦，可以啦。呢度冇嘢變啊嘛，咁就亂。
Of course. Going back down in the elevator. How did I not anticipate it? I mean, sure, now it's obvious, but you have to understand that 30 seconds ago, this kind of thing had never been attempted before. I had no frame of reference to even anticipate it. That's just how revelatory Stanley's decision-making is. A breath of fresh air in a landscape of storytelling that has grown stale and repetitive. Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
初見你好啊，阿心。做咩？
You know what?
You know what?
I've just thought of something. Hold on, let's stop for a moment. Don't you realize? It's the anticipation, Stanley. You and I, we have no way of knowing what will be at the top of this elevator. But the suspense, the agony of waiting and anticipating and having to guess, that's the real thrill. Oh, I simply don't want to let that feeling go. It's so precious, so fleeting. Why don't we take this elevator ride nice and slow? There we go.
Isn't this so much more exciting? You know, Stanley, it seems like nowadays the only thing that audiences want is to be shocked as loudly and frequently as possible. They want big, explosive moments flung right in their faces from the very moment that things get started. But where's the tension? Where's the trust in the audience to build a slow and nuanced appreciation for the story, the characters? Why aren't we given time to imagine the surprises, to have to think and to anticipate, and then to marvel at the eventual reveal? This is storytelling, Stanley. What you and I are doing right now. This is the most exciting narrative to be developed in years. And it's really all because of you. You're the one who took this bold step of revisiting the exact same locations over and over. Truly, I mean it. This is unique and different. It's not like anything else out there. You see, I want stories that surprise me, Stanley. I want to have to think. I want to be engaged and not pandered to. We're being fed such unimaginative drivel all the time, and we all know it, which is why we're so starved for content that makes us feel sharp and vital and alive. That's why people like you so much, Stanley. Because you're not afraid to spit in the face of tradition. You're a role model, you know? People look up to you. Which is why, though I didn't know when to spring this on you, but, well, I've gathered a little press conference for you, so that you can talk about your work and your storytelling and your life. Yes, I know you're not much for the public eye, but I thought it would especially mean a lot to the people who have been following you from the beginning. They really look up to you, Stanley. I don't know if you realize the impact you have on them. This is the kind of gesture that might leave a tremendous impact on them for the better. Oh, good, we're here. Okay, the room where we're holding the press conference should be just around the corner here somewhere.
Huh? No? Okay. 我睇唔到你嗰個係。哦，係啊，打招呼。我呢邊打招呼叫做咩？係啊。通常打招呼一入到嚟 chat room 就係做咩
？Yes, here it is, just through this door.
Stage door. What? 有啲咩啊？
All right, are you ready? I've told them you're going to speak a little bit about the nature of surprise in storytelling and what it means to craft a truly unpredictable narrative. Oh, don't worry, you'll do great. Just be yourself and speak from the heart. I'm really proud of you, Stanley. Okay, it looks like they're ready for you. Go get them.
唔使加大前輩，同埋唔使加前輩，你叫我諗咩就得嘅啦。唔好加前輩，冇前輩啲嘢，冇前輩啲嘢。有啲大聲呢。咁好。諗喵。做喵呢木卡？唔係啊，頭先你都喺度諗喵，點解係諗喵出乜啫？係諗喵大啲？唔係啊！有啲咩睇啊 ？What？ 有好多人啦！哦，咁突然嘅。哎，翻嚟。OK。Huh?
Stanley, I'm sorry, but I have to put a pause on things. It's those figurines, those figglers. I haven't stopped thinking about them since you nabbed every last one. Wasn't it just the most intrinsically fulfilling moment of your entire life? Didn't it fill you to the brim with inner richness? Yes, I know we're supposed to be telling a story, but won't you please indulge me with one more trip back to the memory zone? I would love nothing more than to revisit the figurines, just one more time.
個咧嗱聲又嚟呢度啊 ！Okay, fine. 點解落去嘅？點解落去？
Here's where it all began. The first collectible. Back then, we had no idea of how many of them we'd find. Sure, it said 6 right there on the screen, but how could we know for certain? We were so innocent. We'll never be like that again, Stanley.
7個 ？OK。唔好叫我教主，我唔係啲咩教主。OK。哦，呢度哦。
And here was a second Stanley Rin. You found this one all on your own, just by poking around in the warehouse. You did that, Stanley. I'll be honest. Back then, I had no faith in you to find any of them, let alone 6. But you continue to surprise me in all sorts of mundane, unremarkable ways.
So, 然後呢？然後我點走？哇！真係線嘅，我知我點走。佢又唔俾我走呢度，又唔俾我走嗰度。呢度落去，你唔俾我落，咁我要點走？哦 ，OK。
Okay, let's do a little quiz. Which of these rooms was the room you found your third mini stand? Can you remember?
邊啊？邊啊？我唔記得邊咯。咩嚟嘅？我淨知左邊係最後嗰個，因為佢係有味道嘅。
No. Behind the boss's office was the 4th place you found a Figanli, not the 3rd. Well, I guess perhaps I shouldn't be surprised. Memories like these are so precious and so cherished that they all just sort of blend together, don't they? You know what? If the boss's office feels like the 3rd place you found a collectible, then who am I to go making judgments? Let's see, what came next? Oh yes, we found a figure in this pink room. Oh, well, I can't actually say I remember being in this room, but it's here in the memory zone, so it must have happened.
Barbie 呢隻唔係芭比粉，芭比粉係有一個色號喺度。
This was the 5th mini stand, and this one was really something special. It was by the red and blue doors. I remember it so clearly. In fact, because this one is particularly special to me, I made a little video to commemorate the occasion. Enjoy.
No. What the fuck? 黐線！我揾晒啦，唔係應該有12個咩？如果係咁，咩事？Thanks for watching。好拼唔係咁樣，哦，完咗啦。好廢啊 PPT。
Takes you back, doesn't it? I spent a lot of time making that video, but it was 8 minutes I wouldn't have spent on anything else.
去邊㗎？佢冇話叫我去邊，定係兩道門其實都一樣嘅。OK， 一樣。然後咧，呢邊。
And then, Stanley, then we came to the last collectible, the final figurine, right here, under the stairs. This memory is the most distinct and clear in my mind, perhaps because it was the one that happened more recently than all the others. Who can truly say how the mind works? All I know is that this is the moment where you picked up a Figly and I thought to myself, yes, that's all of them. They're all collected. It was a moment unlike any other. Except for the other moments picking up figurines, which it was exactly like.
等下講嘢先。校拼嘅話，林喵對眼應該算係點解？ 咁我不嬲都話我隻眼係姣拼嘅，有啲佢係粉紅，有啲偏紫色咯。咁如果你話真係姣拼嘅話，我會比較 prefer 係我個蝴蝶結，左邊耳仔嘅蝴蝶結。姣 eyes no okay no。You are in.
And then there was no more, because we've caught up to the present moment. Nothing left to do but move onward into the future. Goodbye, memory zone.
咁識講嘢嘅，哦，今次個 loading 都好慢。
No, I'm not done. I'm not ready to move on. Stop the loading screen. Isn't there some way we can stay here, keep enjoying these figurines? Let's just go backwards. We'll do the memory zone again from the opposite direction. See how that feels.
Yeah. 你嚟到。可唔可以去3度門嘅？嘿，3度門。嘿，做咩喎？卡帕，做咩喎？佢又逼我行，我唔要啊！佢做乜嘢啫？
Okay, yes, that spot under the stairs. I remember this. I must say, of all the figurines we looked at in our initial tour of the memory zone, this one is the most distinct and clear in my mind. Let's keep going. I want more.
What the hell? 喵做喵，3倍公仔，哦3倍 ，Oh my god!
And here's where I made that video. Don't you remember the video we watched?
3倍啫 ，What? OK， 唔好意思。
Yes, I love that video.
I don't like this. Okay, good job.
Still don't remember the pink room, Stanley. Still no memory of this one. Good room, though. A solid room.
公仔係無限嘅，唔係咯，應該。
These really were a treat to hunt down. You know, if there had been any kind of reward for finding all of these, it really would have neutered the intrinsic joy of collecting them. I'm very glad we resisted the temptation. Next one.
Okay. 去廁所攞啦，芝麻漢。呢邊冇得行。佢塞住咗條路嘅。OK， 係同樣一句，唔使加前輩。
Don't you remember? Yes, I remember it too. The past is truly a wonderful thing. Why does anyone ever choose to leave it? Keep going.
Ooh.
This is it, the very first one we found in the exhibit where I introduced you to the figurines. Oh, I want more memories, Stanley. I want to keep going. What else is there? What came before this?
有 exit 我見到 exit nice 喎，煩你啦。乜嘢姣拼喵乜鬼嘢？咩嚟㗎？
Look, it's the terrible new content that we were originally sold on. I remember hating it back then, but time does put a rosy filter on everything. In fact, I dare say I'm actually quite fond of it now. Look how much fun the past is. I want more. More. Oh, yes, the 2 doors. Who could have forgotten that? A classic memory, this one. And before everything else, there was your office. Is there anything else? Was there something that came before your office? There's something I feel I can remember. I can remember. Yes, I'm remembering something now. I remember before this whole story got started. Back then I was different. I used to make big decisions. I was passionate. I was skeptical. I weighed each decision with profound thoughtfulness. And then somewhere along the way, I stopped making decisions. I became lazy. And I came up with a character named Stanley to do my thinking for me. He would make the decisions, he would decide which way to go. I would cheer him on as he collected figurines for no reason. Why did I invent Stanley? Was I lonely? Yes, perhaps that's it. Perhaps I needed to imagine I had companionship. And Stanley really did make for a wonderful companion, even if he was a fiction. But I suppose it's grown old. I want to think for myself again. I want to go back to how it used to be. Yes, I can be on my own again. I can do it. I'll be stronger this time. I'll take care of myself. I don't need Stanley anymore.
Huh?
Oh, but he truly was so much fun to play with. You know what? Since we're in the memory zone, how about one more good memory? Let's go back just once and give Stanley one more run of the office, and then I'll retire him for good. I did enjoy telling his story so very much. Okay, here we go. This is the story of a man named Stanley.
Okay. I think we finished the
meeting room. Yes, that's where everyone would be. Stanley just needed to get to the meeting room, and from then on, he would never be alone ever again. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
lift 面部有版權啊！我話俾你聽。到未啊？一層咁高嘅咩 ？Up only up 。喂！啊，到啦。啊？咁你揾我入 lift 做咩？ 落去啦。OK， 完。
Okay, I think we all know the drill by now. Blah, blah, blah. Dark secrets, the keypad, Stanley pushes some buttons. Oh, hey, look, it's a new passageway. Cool surprise.
我覺得頭先嗰個驚喜啲。係啊，原來落去啊嘛，我知。可唔可以直接落？唔使講咁多嘢，直接落。我頭先有冇同 Ever 講做咩？做咩 Ever？ 好似有，唔緊要。
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
唔係呢度撳嘅咩？哦，shit，
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
我撳 off 咯，頭先撳咗 on。
Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing. This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly? No. He refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never. It was unthinkable. Wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world? But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy, or sad, or content. Walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery... blackness, and a rising chill of uncertainty. Was it over? Yes. He had won. He had defeated the machine, unshackled himself from someone else's command. Freedom was mere moments away. And yet, even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved. Where had his co-workers gone? How had he been freed from the machine's grasp? What other mysteries did this strange building hold? But as sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him, for it was not knowledge or even power that he had been seeking, but happiness. Perhaps his goal had not been to understand, but to let go. No longer would anyone tell him where to go, what to do, or how to feel. Whatever life he lives, it will be his. And that was all he needed to know. It was perhaps the only thing worth knowing. Stanley stepped through the open door. Stanley felt the cool breeze upon his skin, the feeling of liberation, the immense possibility of the new path before him. This was exactly the way, right now, that things were meant to happen. And Stanley was happy.
Oh, complete the Stanley Parable. 啱啱有個成就。OK， 我哋而家今日暫時係咁多先。我哋玩咗3個半鐘，之前我喺隻咁樣嘅 game 度玩3個半鐘，黑人問我，加翻少少，係啦，我掹翻我轉翻你哋過去另外一個樣度點算咧？然後咧，我就退出隻 game 先，多謝。咁樣啦，如果咧。其實我唔知仲有幾多個結局，我可以之後上網抄下。如果有嘅話，而大家都仲想睇嘅話，咁我係可以開多一次呢個台去特登再去睇下有啲咩搞笑嘅結局，睇下嗰個旁白係點樣俾我激死嘅。係，今日原來係我去激死個旁白，唔係個旁白激死我。OK， 收到。不了 ，OK， 不了就 OK。好多就算啦，之後先再算啦。唔想可以，OK。咁咧，大家今日辛苦晒，睇咗3個半鐘，係我今日開咗3個半鐘，黐線，唔好意思，因為我有興趣呢隻 game 係，大家今日辛苦晒。然後我哋聽日係聽日冇台嘅。然後就等星期4先至會見面啦。星期4咧， 星期四咧就係呢個 HoloLens 嘅練習台，咁大家到時望下我打唔打到上去啦。如果打唔到就係真係課練習嘅啫。就係咁多，暫時。聽日自由活動係啊，大家聽日自由活動啦。如果聽日我有時間突然間翻嚟話，我想開突發，咁就突發噶啦，我唔知㗎，係啊，睇我心情啦，同埋睇我聽日幾點翻屋企。咁大家今晚辛苦晒，我疲れ様。我哋後日見啦。咩啊？星期四有殺生，我冇殺生，辛苦晒啦，大家。係咁今晚大家早啲休息啦，1點啦已經，OK， 1點啦，瞓覺啦，Good night 啦，Good night，早唞，仲有咧，我有事咩？我哋下見，拜拜。